So even though I'm a Patreon supporter of Last Stand Media, I don't usually listen to the Finding Duke podcast until Sunday night, Monday morning. So imagine my surprise when I'm listening to this list of the best and worst games of 2021. We know the ceiling, or I guess the bottom level, the basement level of where this industry can go. And out of all these games, of all this trash that was released this year, Mr. Matthew, I shall call him, goes and says, number one worst game of the entire year, platform agnostic, the entire industry, according to Mr. Matthew, is none other than Arcane and Bethesda's Deathloop on the PlayStation 5. Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy, the definitive edition, was not even on his top 5 list of the worst games of the year. Did not even crack the top 5. And yet here we go. We have Deathloop as number one worst game of the year. Now, I'm not gonna rant and rave and go insane and crazy because honestly, I didn't think that Deathloop was the best game of the year. But what they did with the game was it probably just resonated with me in particular. And the reason why it resonated so highly with me in particular, I appreciate things that call back to 60s mod fashions that it was like a 3 or 4 year period of time. And anything that really goes like insanely deep with that particular just little subculture, just immediately I gush all over. That's why I think the original Batman series is just so phenomenally awesome, is because it's 60s mod from start to finish. It's ridiculous in that fashion. And the fact that Deathloop was able to hearken and pinpoint so perfectly the little details of what made 60s mod counterculture such a thing, it just blew my mind. Like I would just walk into the 4 little areas and just walk around and just be taken in the music, the clothing, the atmosphere, the decorations in the buildings and everything. That the entire thing was just so just oozing with that feeling and that time period, that such small time period in history. And the way that they were able to just knock it out of the park with the details is just absolutely phenomenal. Now, his major complaint was it's not an open world. Well, not everything needs to be an open world. I was completely just satisfied with being able to go in, and we have these 4 areas, and I liked being confined by the 4 areas because now I don't have to walk from here all the way to freaking Canada to do my objective. My objective is 200 yards in front of me, in and out. And it made for a much more enjoyable gaming experience to just be able to walk in, do what you need to do, and get the heck on out of there. Another one of his complaints he made was that he was making fun of the fact that it was up for like narrative of the year. I'll give him that. The narrative, it's a lot akin to what From Software does. It's not quite to that level, but it was somewhat akin. But I will say that the dialogue between the 2 characters, the voice acting, was very superbly done. I fell so in love with the way that they bantered off each other and that dialogue. It was really well written and it was really well voice act. So you got to give them props for that. Now, the thing that he kept on beating over and over again is they have better games. They have Dishonored. They have Prey. They have this, that, and the other. And I'll give you that Dishonored was definitely a more deeper engaging piece. I'll give you that Prey had definitely more meat on the bones and was an interesting piece. But the thing about the matter is, neither one of those were based with a heavy influence on the mod 60s feeling. And the thing that I think is so interesting about that is I can't think of any games. It went that specifically into that subculture and the things around that. Yes, it's not a typical arcane game, but not everything has to be typical. Imagine just for a moment, go to the store, you're looking at the games, and you pick up Fallout 3, and you take Fallout 3 home, and you put Fallout 3 in the old Xbox 360, you kick back on your couch, start playing it, you're like, this doesn't feel like Elder Scrolls. This doesn't feel like Oblivion. Where's my magic at? This isn't Bethesda. I mean, imagine for a moment. That's basically what we're talking about here. We're talking about, we're not giving the studio creative freedom to do something truly outside of their wheelhouse. And what they were able to do and deliver was a smash hit for every regard that you could think of. Yes, it's not Dishonored, it's not Prey, but it's still a fantastic game. I mean, again, imagine you go and you pick up a new record from your favorite band and you're listening, you're like, this isn't the first album. Well, of course it's not. They've grown, they've matured. They've had experiences between now and then. They've gone through things in life, and that affects the writing process, that affects the recording process, that affects how they're able to carry out the instrumentation because they've grown since then. They've acquired more talent. And the same thing with this. You know, Deathloop, it's not supposed to be Dishonored 3, you know? It's just not. And so you need to go in with a different mindset on that and just appreciate the atmosphere, appreciate the tone, appreciate the music, appreciate the clothing that everybody's wearing, and that kind of thing. Just appreciate the overall feel of everything. Out of everything, I think the music is just phenomenal. Like, I'll listen to the soundtrack in the car when I'm driving to work. It's just, they got the subtleties of that era so locked down. Like, listening to it, I'm like, this is amazing. But I don't want to go on much further with this. I was thinking of just, going completely ape crazy with this video and putting B-roll and all this other stuff. But honestly, if I were to do that, it'd take me like a week to put it together because the wife's been out of town. She's coming back tomorrow morning. We have a bunch of television to get caught up on. So it would literally, I wouldn't even be able to get started on it until Saturday. So I was like, whatever, we'll just do a vlog, talk straight into the camera. That's what Matt does. That's what Cog does. They just talk straight into the camera. So this will be a true video response, talking straight into the camera. So that's all I got to say. I just wanted to make this response because I realize that at this point, I think it's more of a meme than anything for him to be beating up on Deathloop. And I think he just does it for the lulz because, I mean, it's funny. But at the end of the day, there's absolutely no way on this planet, in this galaxy, in this solar system, in this universe, that Deathloop is a worse game than Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy, the definitive edition. It's not possible. So, yeah, I guess that's all I have for that. So thanks for watching and peace out.